All right, everybody, today we're going to be learning how to find the sum or difference or the product when we go ahead and subtract, add, or multiply decimals, or as the book calls them, rational numbers. So let's begin. I'm going to do all the odd numbers. You will be responsible for all the even ones. We'll start with number 19. If we have 2.17 minus 0.8, and we're just going to line our decimal up here, 2.17. We're going to minus 0.8. Now notice the decimal has to be lined up in the same spot underneath each other. That means this 8 will have like a 0 there after it, and now we would subtract it like a regular number. 7 minus 0 is 7. 1 minus 8, I'll have to borrow 1 from my 2. This will give me 3 for 11 minus 8. And then the 1 would come down. So my answer would be 1.37. See how simple that is? All right, let's go ahead and start on the next one. All right, the next one is number 21. And we're going to have 46.91 minus 28.7. So let's try that. Again, we're going to line our numbers up. 46.91. And now we're going to minus. Our decimal stays in the same spot, so 28 comes over here, and 7 comes over here. And I guess we'd fill this in with a 0. Now we subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. 9 minus 7 is 2. 6 minus 8, well, we know we're going to have to borrow 1. Turn that to a 16. That'll be 8. And that'll be 1. So our answer should be 18.21 for this one. Number 23, 5.1 minus, and I'm just going to save myself a little work by using the first number here, minus 0.48. And we'd have to put a 0 here. And if we did, we'd have to borrow 1. We'd have to borrow 1 from here too. So let's see, that'd be a 4. And then we have to bring 1 over here because remember there's going to be a 0 over this 8. So that's going to turn this to a 10. And now 10 minus 8 will be 2. 10 minus 4 will be 6. And the 4 will come down, which will make this 4.62. Hoping you're getting the hang of it. Let's try number 25 now. Again, I'm going to bring this right over here. We're subtracting again. All I had were subtraction problems. You guys had addition ones. We work them the same way. Let's see, 9.45. Please remember that operation, negative or minus sign or plus sign, is going to determine whether you're going to subtract these numbers or you're going to add these numbers. Okay? I don't want anybody thinking just because all the ones that I've done so far are negatives numbers or subtraction signs, I should call these, that we're actually going to be doing subtraction every time. If there's a plus there, we're going to add the number. Let's start over here again. This is subtraction. So 1 minus, and there's nothing under it, so we're going to put a 0 there. 1 minus 0 is 1. 0 minus 5, can't do that, so we have to borrow 1. 10 minus 5 is 5. And this was a 1, not a 6. I don't want it to look like a 6. 4 minus 4, that's 0. A decimal comes down, and 9 minus 9 is 0. So it's just going to be 0.051. Okay? 0.051. All right, finally, I got an addition one. Wow. So I'll put these lined up again. I'll put the 14.24. Five and 4 make 9. 6 and 2, that makes 8. My decimal comes down. 2 plus 4 is 6. And 1 and 1 is 2. I think everyone's getting the hang of that now. All right, let's scroll down here, and it says find each product. Now we're going to be multiplying. Now, the thing about multiplying is you have to remember that after you multiply these as whole numbers, then you count how many places the decimals have gone to move over total in both your numbers, and then add them together and put them in your answer. So 7 times 5 would be 35, for instance. And oh wow, I am doing number 28, and I shouldn't have done that one. So I'm going to erase that because I want you guys to do your own work. I'm doing number 29. Sorry about that. So 12 times 0.08. So I know 12 times 8. Well, let's do that. 12 times 8. 2 times 8 would be 16. And 1 times 8 would be 8 plus 1 makes 9. So that's 96. And now we have to count how many decimals went over. 1, 2. There's no decimals here, and there were 2 places here. So we'd go 1, 2, making my answer 0.96. All right? So this one would be 0.96. All right, let's try number 31. 4 times 0.4 times 0.17. So I can do that, or I can say 17 times 4. It doesn't matter. I like putting the bigger number up top. Well, 4 times 7, that's 28. 2 comes over. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6, so that's 68. But look here, we've got 1 placement there, and then 2 placements here on our decimals. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3. So that means I have to go 1, 2, and look, I'm going to have to create an annex for 0 here and put an extra place there before my decimal, because there are 3 spaces that were used up by my decimal. So I have to go back 1, 2, 3 spaces on my answer. All right, let's try number 33. This is 3.42 times 5.15. Well, they're both 3 numbers, so I'm not going to get away with any shortcuts here. I'll go ahead and just put this one under here and multiply it. And I know that 2 times 5 is 0. Here the 1. 20 plus 1 is 21. And 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 makes 17. So my top row is 1710. My next row is multiplied by 1, so that's going to be easy. I'll put my 0 there and just put 342. And the third one, I have to put 2 zeros there. And now, once again, it's 5, so I'm going to get the same answer, 1710. So let's see, 1710. And now I get to add all this together. And the zeros come down to be 0. 1 plus 2 is 3. 7 plus 4, that's 11. So I'll put 1 and carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. So I'll put a 6 down here. And this will be 17. Now I have to count those places again with the decimals. The decimal over here was 2 places. Okay, moved over 2 places. So that's 1, 2, and then 2 places for this one as well. 1, 2. That's a total of 4. So I'll have to move it 1, 2, 3, 4. My answer should be 17.613. All right. All right, let's move down here to number 35. The Bright O shampoo factory includes 1.078 ounces of vanilla oil in a 6.35 ounce bottle of shampoo. How much of the bottle of shampoo is not vanilla oil? So in other words, we're going to take this 6.35 which is the total amount of ounces in it, and we're going to subtract 1.078. And I need to make a little more room than what I did there, because I see that my decimals need to move over a bit. So let's try it over here. 6.35. And then a minus 1.078. Because we want to see why I'm subtracting and removing the vanilla oil from it, because they said how much is not vanilla oil. And that leaves me to subtract it from 6.35, which is the total amount of the shampoo. I have to put a 0 over the 8 because there's no number there. When I do this, I'll have to borrow 1 from the 3, which will make this a 2, and make this a 15. And then I'll have to get that, remove that, borrow 1 from there, excuse me, which will make that 14. And put my 1 there. Now 10 minus 8 is 2. 14 minus 7 is 7. 2 minus 0 is 2. My decimal comes down. And 6 minus 1 is 5. That means that 5.027 ounces, don't forget our unit of measure, of this shampoo is not vanilla oil. All right, let's go to number 37. How fast would 1.5 times the fastest rowing speed be before you solve? Tell the number of decimal places in your answer. Oh boy, okay. So it says here we're going to use the graph for number 37. All right, and then this graph shows the fastest sporting speeds. They have the fastest swimming, fastest running, fastest rowing, fastest lunge, and the fastest thrown baseball. All right, and what we have to do is how fast would 1.5 times the fastest rowing speed be? Tell the number of decimal places in your answer before I answer. Okay, so I got 1.5. I already know I'm going to move over 1 decimal space, but the fastest rowing speed is 13.99. So I'd have to move over 2. So that tells me the number of decimal places in my answer is going to be 3, because I'll be moving over 2 spaces there and 1 space here. So 3 will be my answer for that one there. And then how fast would it be? Well, that would be 13.99 times 1.5. I don't have to line up my decimals when I'm multiplying and dividing, okay? Only when I add and subtract. Because I'm going to multiply just like I would normally would. All right, and if I did, I take 9 times 5, that's 45. Bring up my 4. 9 to 45 again, plus 4 would be 49. Bring up my 4. 3 times 5 would be 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. And 1 times 5 is 5, plus 1 would be 6. And then, since this is multiplied by 1 after I put my 0, I'll just put 13.99. And when I add it up, 5 and 0 will be 5. 9 and 9 will be 18. 9 and 9 will be 18 again, plus 1 will be 19. 6 plus 3 will be 9, plus 1 will be 10. And 1 plus 1 is 2. And as we said, we have to move this over 3 places, so that'd be 1, 2, 3. My answer should be 20.985. I don't want anybody to confuse it with the number 38 cents. All right, let's go to number 39. Matthew bought a jersey, a pennant, and a hat. He paid with a $50 bill and some money he borrowed from his friend. If Matthew got $6.01 in change from the cashier, how much did he borrow from his friend? How much from his friend? How much did he borrow from his friend to pay for the items? Okay, well, this tells me that I'm adding some number to 50, okay, and then I'm subtracting the total number that I have that I've spent, okay? So we got to find out how much the bill was. I don't see it very clear here. I'm going to have to look it up in the book really quick, so let me put it in pause. Okay, I found a decent picture. Now I can make out the price there. I'm going to use the calculator to go ahead and add up those prices. I see $39.99. And I'm going to have to add $10.25. And let's see here. That last one looks like $13.75. So the bill came up to $63.99. So let's put this in an equation. Let's see. So I know the bill was $63.99. So now I know what the total was. It says here that I paid with cash $50. So minus $50 is going to equal $13.99. And if I got back change 601, I should be able to take $13.99 and minus 601 from it. That should give me what my friend borrowed to me. One moment, please. I got something in my throat. Take a little drink of water. Oh, thank you. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 0 is 9. 13 minus 6 is 7. So that means my friend must have borrowed $7.98 from me. And that's how we do it. Oops, wait a second. I realized that I subtracted when I should have added. Remember, this 601 was given back to us. It was not taken away. So let me go ahead and correct myself. This is going to be added to here. I'm going to carry the 1. Carry the 1. $20 is what my friend had to borrow me. We know this because the total bill has to be added on to 601 because that's the total amount that they had, and that this is what they were returning. So yeah, that'd be $20 that my friend had borrowed to me. Sorry about that. Let's see, number 41. Explain why 0.25 times 0.4 has only one decimal place in the product. And that's going to be because 25 times 20 times 4 is 100. So that's going to make 2 zeros there. So even though it goes 3 zeros back, so watch, 25 by 25 times 0.4 is going to equal 100. And then when we put the zeros back, 1, 2, 3, you see there's only going to be one decimal place behind the 1. Okay, and place only one decimal place in the product. So 0.1, and that's it. Let's see, and number 43 is next. The students in Walden Middle School are selling tins of popcorn to raise money for new uniform. Okay, they sold 42 tins in the first week. Okay, how much money did they make in their first week? Okay. Well, let's see. It said are selling tins of popcorn. They sold 42 of these tins in the first week. And it said the popcorns are $9 and $9.25. And we sold 42 of them. So let's go ahead and add these up. 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1. That's 2 plus times 2 is 4, plus 1 makes 5. And 9 times 2 is 18. I'll put that 0 over here. 4 times 5 is 20. There's a 2 up here. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 makes 10. And 4 times 9 is 36, plus 1 makes 37. So that's a 0, 0, 8, 7 and 1 is 8, and 3. I'm sorry, this wasn't a 0, this should have been a 5. All right, and because there's 2 decimal places, it should be $388.50. So that's how much they should have made in the first week. And that's talking money, so the unit of measure is money. And I believe that's all of them that are odd for me to do. The rest were for you to do. Good luck, and I'll see you in class.